That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Some Like It Rare, the fourth film and second by himself directorial effort from Fabrice Eboué, which is being released October 7th, 2022, courtesy of Brainstorm Media in New York and LA's Alamo Drafthouse theaters only. And then a week later on October 14th, it will be available on demand.
I wanted this movie to be called Some Like It Raw, but or Ooh Baby I Like It Raw. Shout out to ODB. But
Raw always makes me think of that Technotronic song. Move this.
The director, their first film?
No, he's directed 4 films. His first 2 were with co-directors, and this is his second standalone.
What's the first standalone?
I think his Coexister. I haven't seen it. I didn't know who this person was, but I do. I'm very familiar with his co-star Marina.
I feel like I'm on crazy pills. Okay, the story is about a married couple, Fabrice and Sophie.
Pascal and Sophie. Played by the director and Marina.
They're French. They're in France. Mm-hmm. They own like a little butcher shop. And they're having problems, marital problems and financial problems. Their business is not successful. So one day they're at work and some vegans like trash their store, like throw like red paint at them and smash their windows. But Pascal is able to snatch one of them and like rip off his mask and see him. Okay. So then some time later, they're at a friend's house. This couple is friends with another couple who own like a bunch of butcher shops, and they make a lot of money. And they're like assholes. Like why they're even friends, we don't know. And as they're driving back from their place, kind of upset because the friends were assholes to them, Pascal sees the guy who trashed his shop.
On a bike.
Riding on a bike. And he's like, I'm going to run this fool over. And he does and kills him. Sophie is obsessed with like this TV show about serial killers. So she knows a lot about like murdering and stuff. So Pascal's like, I don't know what to do. And she's like, well, you can't do this or this or this. You'll get caught. So we have to take care of the body. So they bring the body back to the butcher shop. And Pascal's plan is to cut up this man and cure his meat so it looks like butcher meat, and then dispose of it like as if it went bad. But Sophie sells that man's human flesh to a customer like unknowingly.
Who thinks it's ham.
And that lady comes back and is like, that was the best shit I ever ate. I need more of it. And then there's a scene where it's awkward because neither of them know like what she ate. And then when they realize it, they're kind of freaked out and they have to come up with a story. So they say it's Iranian pork, which is supposed to be like a gag because everyone keeps asking for Iranian pork. And then this happens very early in the film. And then they decide like, we can have a really successful business if we start selling human meat, but we're only going to sell vegan human flesh.
And they tried it, and they also are obsessed with the taste of it.
Yes, Pascal and Sophie love this vegan human meat. So yeah, they're just on a killing spree the entire film, and it culminates, or it ends really, with them killing. Earlier on in the film, they went and trashed their friend's butcher shop with 3 other vegans, and they use the phrase V-Power a lot. So these like V-Power people. But those people find out that Pascal and Sophie are not vegans. They're butchers. So they go to their shop to like kill them. But Sophie and Pascal get the upper hand and kill those 3. And then immediately we cut to that TV show Sophie likes to watch about serial killers. And the announcer is telling us about Sophie and Pascal and how they are these like vegan cannibals. And they have killed 30 vegans. The end.
And their daughter also notably was dating a vegan in the mix.
Yeah. You know, I think this was a weird time to watch it because we had just finished the Ryan Murphy Dahmer series and then the Netflix docuseries about Dahmer. And, you know, assuming everyone knows Dahmer engaged in cannibalism. So it was kind of a lot to then see this film. And then they offered us like barbecue before
Yeah,
the film.
there was an event before this screening.
And the food was delicious.
Yes.
If I knew the name, I would shout them out. But maybe I'll find it and post it up. It was good.
But I was like, you understand we're eating this barbecue before cannibals in the film. Which is,
I'm not a squeamish person. I think
Same.
anyone who's like, I mean, I like dark, weird stuff. So of course I wanted to see it. And I thought there'd be barbecue. So I thought there were a lot of funny moments.
the French title is barbecue as well.
But I think the gag of like butchers who sell vegan human meat, like it runs a little long in the tooth very quickly. Like by the hour mark, I was kind of like, okay.
Well, we've seen films before about couples who are selling human flesh to customers, like Eating Raoul, the Paul Bartel film from, what was that, 82? And then the French seem to have a strange fascination with butchers and films about butchers, because you have too many to name, but like Delicatessen always comes to mind, or Le Boucher, the butcher, which feels very much like a template for something like Stranger by the Lake, about a woman that falls in love with a killer who's a butcher. Anyway, or Le Grand Bouffe. It has that bizarre, morbid Euro feel to it, but it also is very much one note.
So I thought, I'm probably going to veer into what I wanted it to be, but I should probably go through my notes first. But the relationship between Sophie and Pascal, I thought was interesting because they're clearly not happy. She hates that like they don't have money and that he's not very exciting. And like the opening of the film is him preparing a cut of meat, Pascal preparing a cut of meat for a customer, and he's spanking it and he's very passionate about what he does, and it takes him a long time, which is part of why they don't make a lot of money, because he doesn't want to do things differently. And you can see in Sophie's eyes like the disgust towards him. And she's so disgusted by her life with him and by him that I feel like it made sense to me that she just wanted to do anything to like rejuvenate it. So I thought that was a very good start to the story. But
I wanted there to be more connections between, because clearly they're making social commentary about, you know, the kind of the politicization of, you know, veganism versus meat eaters, carnivores. But I wanted somebody somewhere to draw that because everything's very on the nose. Like, how is it okay to eat this and not that? And where do we draw the line? And why isn't that part of the discussion?
I think this could have been more sophisticated or more outlandish, but I think for it to be more outlandish, it would have also tired out very quickly. Like, what I wanted was, we don't see them kill anyone. The entire film is them building up to killing someone and then serving the meat, and then the people love it, the end. So then as the audience, we assume that they're probably going to keep doing it. But for them to sort of like seek out human flesh for the bulk of the film, it wasn't like, there are funny moments, but I feel like the funniest moments didn't even involve the killing. In fact, some of the more obnoxious moments are involving the killings. I thought probably the best moment was when Pascal and Sophie realized like the only way for us to like get vegan meat is we have to go to places where vegans go. So they go to this like they go to like a farmer's market, and they're dressed like protesters protesting like the consumption of animal products. And then some other vegan comes up to them and is like shouting over them, which reminded me of that Maria Bamford.
Yes.
So I thought that was funny. And then the guy won't stop talking. So finally,
because Marina Foïs is trying to like lead him into their little plan.
Trap, yeah. But he won't let her get a word in edgewise. So all of a sudden she just screams like, "Eat my pussy." And I thought like that vibe of like, I just think the insanity of what they're considering is the best part of the story. But once they execute it, which they do within the first like 15 minutes, then it's just like, because the killings are so just
Yeah, once you go to that kind of point of no return with violence, I think audiences automatically start, you know, usually becoming a little more detached from, because you can't up the ante from there. It's like you've done the worst you can do, which is cut humans up and sell them to people.
Right. I thought another good approach would have been, so Sophie and Pascal have a daughter, this beautiful young lady who's dating this guy who's a vegan, and he's super obnoxious about it. He won't eat anything Sophie cooks at a lunch she makes, and he just can't stop talking about it. I feel like it all should have worked because there's conversation about like, oh, they say like transsexual vegans is the phrase they use, or the subtitles, because of like
hormones.
Castrated men have like more tender meat or something. Because, yeah. So I thought it just would have been funnier to watch them consider like potential victims and why, and the commentary on people and what they do and how they decide on victims, and then maybe make...
There is some of that.
There is, but I for sure thought they were going to kill the boyfriend.
I did too. Well, she's all gung-ho to do it.
Right, and that was a tense scene when, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, they're going to do it, and then Pascal says no. But again, I think I needed more build-up because they kill someone right away and eat them.
Well, and they're both kind of reprehensible. There's no kind of possible salvation for either of them. And she's worse. Sophie's worse.
Yeah. Well, because Pascal's kind of pitiful.
Yes.
Like he's like a weakling.
But this is also seen as a way to like build himself up as a man, because she actually doesn't do any killings whatsoever.
There is a scene where she brings home a guy who's strangely into her more than I thought he might be, and then Pascal ends up killing him because the guy thinks they're gonna have like a threesome. I liked that vibe, but I wish it would have been more of like them luring people in and then getting cold feet, and something happens where they finally do it, and maybe it would be the boyfriend because they realize like over their dead bodies, or they're gonna let their daughter marry this jerk or something. But there is a sequence of killing sprees that I think at that point I had sort of somewhat checked out, because all the killings are very like in the open, and you see them running in daylight chase. Pascal's carrying around a huge meat cleaver. It's like, okay,
they're in the countryside when they're doing that, but yeah.
Well, then there's a scene where they throw someone down the stairs, and I don't know, it was just all a little over the top.
Yes.
Then we get a scene where Pascal's comparing the killing to like animals. And I thought that was kind of cute, because we see like a cheetah chasing its prey, and then we see Pascal chasing, and then we see like an alligator, a boa constrictor, a leopard, a lion, and then he's replicating those. I thought that was fun.
But again, like there needed to be, it's missing something that is making us draw those comparisons about how that's appropriate to happen in nature, where that's, you know, the natural cycle of things, versus how humans, you know, tend to procure and consume animals when maybe they don't need to as much as they do. I
also felt like there's no tension as to whether or not they might get caught, even when, because there's a moment when Pascal and Sophie go to their asshole friend's house and bring meat, and so everyone's enjoying this meat, and I believe it's the guy, like the asshole guy, he bites something, and it's a pacemaker of this poor guy they killed named Winnie.
That just reminded me of yes, okay.
And at that, like, I wanted there to be more of like there's the chance that they might get away with this, and that they're almost close to getting caught. In this film, it just felt like these people are so reckless, they're going to get caught, and they do.
There's a movie, it's late 70s, I think starring, it is starring Shelley Winters. I think it's called Granbolito, where she plays a woman that's killing people and turning them into candles.
Oh.
Like using their fat, and she gets discovered because of somebody's ring.
Oh, gosh.
Candle. That movie is very much worth watching. This was fine. I didn't hate it. It just kind of becomes a little bit monotonous, like a lot of films do these days. Shout out to Alexia Chardard, who shows up as one of the vegans that tries to attack them in the end. She's in Abdelatif Kashish's Mektoub, My Love films. She doesn't really have much to do. You probably don't remember. Marina Foïs has been in a ton of stuff, but I rented a film years and years ago called Hypnotized Hysterical. It's a 2002 film, and you were I remember tickled at she's drunk screaming this song about alcohol. You probably don't remember that at all, but that's her. You can also see her you can also see her as Isabelle Huppert's boss in the upcoming The Sitting Duck.
Speaking of songs, every time Pascal would go kill someone, this like corny hip hop song would play where the lyrics are like, "Just 'cause I'm a gangster from Long Beach and Compton."
And Watts and yeah.
So before the film, the filmmaker sent like a little cell phone video introducing his movie and explaining the plot, and I thought he seemed really quirky and weird and fun and cute. So, and there are moments like this is an amusing enough movie, and I think people who are into really like gruesome, gory things will probably find it enjoyable.
Yeah, but I feel like most of the time I was just lightly chuckling.
Yeah, I would be very interested to see what else this person does.
Same. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What would you give it?
2.5.
I would give it 2.5 out of 5 as well. Anything else?
No.
Hit the thanks button. Listen to our podcast. Bye.